And just with those two products, you're generating close to £4,000 a month, and you're working less than an hour a week. I mean, it's almost unbelievable. It's incredible. And
Yeah.
also with what you've got planned for the future, I know that you're going to be doing big numbers very soon. What's going on, guys? So this week's video is going to be a little bit different to the usual content that I put out, because in this video I'm going to be interviewing one of my students and 100k club members called Michael about his journey selling on Amazon. So I've been supporting Michael and mentoring him for the last couple of years, and he's had an incredible journey selling on Amazon. It's had its highs, it's had its lows, and in this video interview, we're going to be looking at all of that in huge detail. I absolutely love speaking to Michael, and I'm sure you are also going to really enjoy it. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay guys, so before we jump into the full interview with Michael, what I very quickly want to do is just give you a very brief outline of Michael's journey so far. So Michael joined the Amazon Brand Academy in July 2022, so a couple of years ago now. And I had a look on Facebook in our private mastermind community and actually managed to find Michael's first post, which is awesome. Michael said, "Hey guys, really honored to be part of the Amazon brand community. Let's push the boundaries of our knowledge and achieve that 7-figure mindset." And I absolutely love that post. I'm really glad I could find it. Then around 9 months later, Michael actually launched his first product. Instead of launching one, he actually launched 2 products at the same time. And in the video interview, he'll be talking about why he did that. He then joined the 10K club in July 2022, so about 4 months after he launched his first product. And here's a screenshot of his numbers. So if you look to the right hand side, you can see that in that first 4 months selling, Michael turned over just shy of £12,000, which is incredible in his first few months selling. Then over the next 10 months up until now, he's actually launched 3 more products since then. He's also joined the 100K club, which he joined in May 2022. And here's a screenshot of Michael's numbers from inside the Seller Central account. And you can see that he's turned over just over 100K. So since Michael actually launched his first products in April 2022, to the point he's at now, which has been just over 12 months, so about 12 and a half months, he's actually managed to generate £100,000 in revenue on Amazon, which is a huge achievement. Michael is now generating around £15,000 a month at a 27% margin, which is giving him around £4,000 profit per month while he works less than 1 hour a week. So Michael's had an incredible journey selling on Amazon so far, and this is just the beginning with him. It's had its highs, but it's also had its lows, and we're going to be looking at all of that in this video interview. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Hey Michael, so thank you for joining me for this interview. So anyone who's watching this video, if you're watching on YouTube, you would have just seen that I did a brief introduction into Michael's journey, just a brief overview. But what I want to do in this interview is I really want to kind of go back to the very, very beginning and just drill down into what your whole journey has been, because I think it's going to be really, for anyone watching, that's going to be really interesting, and specifically for new sellers, I think it's really interesting to hear someone's journey. So it's been an incredible journey. Why don't we go back to the very, very beginning? So how did you first hear, and how did you first find out about Amazon FBA?
So it was in my last year of university. It was in the winter times when you are sitting back home with the family. My brother actually introduced me into this business model, into this concept. And he told me about how you can become wealthy and independent and everything else, all the advantages associated with the business model. And of course, I was interested. I said, that sounds nice. How do I start? What should I do? And he gave me access to his course. Of course, he asked for permission from his mentors, and then he gave me access to his course because I was a member of a family, and he said, all right, if he's your brother, that's fine.
Yeah, we normally do that as well. So if it's a wife or a sibling, then we will say that's fine as well.
And yeah, I started their course. It was a big course. It was interesting. It concerns German market, especially German market. Yes, it was a long journey. When I started in winter, right, in December, right, and I finished it in July, June, the
Do you remember
course.
what year this was? Because I know that you ended up
Yes.
joining the Amazon
Yeah.
Brand Academy, our course in, I think it was July 2020. So
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
far back was this? Was this maybe a year
No,
before or?
it was a couple of months before.
Oh,
So it
okay.
was December 2019, and I finished their course on June 2020, July 2020.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was a small
Yeah.
time span. And right, I knew the theoretical part. I knew I knew what the business model was and everything else. Also, what I've done, I've invested all my savings, unfortunately, into a product that my brother suggested, and yeah, actually, it didn't turn out to be profitable,
Yeah.
and now I'm struggling a bit to get my investment out. Um, yeah, it was an experience,
Yeah.
and
And that was in the German market, wasn't it?
yes, yes, it
Yeah.
was for the other viewers to understand, it was a mutual agreement between me and my brother. It was not paperwork, not shares in the business or anything else. It was
Yeah.
just a
Yeah.
mutual agreement. And yeah, it turned out to be a product that was in a really, really high competitive place with small margin. Yeah, the sales volume was high, but there were big brands that were absorbing all the sales, so you can't do anything. The lead time in China was 120 days. And of course, if you
Yeah.
have this big lead time, you have the investment is needs to be
I
substantial,
think
right?
this is also something that we can come back onto a little bit
Of
later
course, yeah,
because
yeah,
now we'll talk about this more later. But now with the new
of
products,
course,
you get those manufactured in the UK, right? So that means the lead
yeah,
times
yeah,
a lot less,
of course, yeah,
and obviously that means cash flow is a lot better. But we'll talk about that
yeah,
a little bit
later.
more. Quick question for you then. So
Mhm.
so you obviously when you decided to join the Amazon Brand Academy and to start looking for your own product in the UK market, at that point had you and your brother already launched that product in Germany or had you not? And also what kind of made you decide that okay, I want to do something on my own in the UK market?
Um, I think it wasn't launched yet. It wasn't launched yet because due to the lead time and also to the transport there. When I've made the investment, it was in May 2020. So considering 120 days plus a transport time plus photography and so on and so forth,
Mm-mm.
uh, I think it was launched in, if I'm not mistaken, it was late on in September, October 2020. Um, what made me to consider doing FBA in the UK was the opportunity, and because I do not want to be biased, but the culture is a bit different in the UK.
Yeah.
I was living there. I see how the people, for example, you are calling someone, everybody is ready to help. It's a different culture. In Germany, is opposite.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to be biased for the German listeners, so sorry. This is my personal
Yeah.
experience. If you
Don't
experience
worry, most
something
listeners will
else,
be for England anyway, so
all right, all right. So also the bureaucratic part, the legislation was different in the UK. Is much more flexible.
were you living in
In
the UK at the time as well or
Yes, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
okay.
was living. I was
Yeah.
living. I was, yeah, a resident.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I've said, yeah, I want to start in the UK, and yeah, I've made a bit of research to find good courses.
Okay, so then you joined the Amazon Brand Academy. That was in July 2020?
Exactly. I made a bit of research. I think was a 2 3 days research. Okay, let's see on the forums how many UK courses there are, what the people are telling you, and they were like, these are our top 5 UK FBA courses, this, and that. And then there were honorable mentions, and I've seen Amazon Brand Academy, Luca, Davenport. I've took every single course and message every single one of them. I think there were around 7 courses, 6, 7 courses. And from those 6, 7, only 3 of them responded, including you. Yeah.
It's very organized of you. You think like me, I do something very similar.
Yeah. and I was aiming to get a course who were really responsive and ready to help. You know, when somebody's writing you an email, you can see if that person wants to help you or wants to sell you the course. And you were so nice. Like I just started my journey. I'm at the beginning. You were very honest with me, and honesty was very important for me. I said, this is a nice guy. I would like to try.
I came across that way.
Yes. Yeah. I would like to start here, and yeah. But also, you had suggested a launch method involving Facebook, and I've said that's interesting. And at that time, you had also other packages like how to reach 7 figures, how to expand, and I said that's really interesting. I didn't have that in my previous course.
Yeah,
that's interesting. And yeah, those were the main reasons. What I was really struggling at was product research. They have a really different approach of product research, and you have a really systematic one. Like you are giving real numbers. Like, look, example number 1, example number 2. Those are the numbers. This is the framework. They had a really totally different one. So this was a plus.
Nice. Okay, so I want to next talk about product research, but just before we do that, so you purchased the course, you've worked your way through it. At that point, what was your starting budget going into it for this first product? Because I know actually you actually launched 2 products at the same time, which we'll talk about in just a sec. But what was your starting budget for those 2 products? Did you plan on launching 2 with that budget, or did that just happen? And then finally, what did you have any goals? Did you know what you kind of wanted to achieve, or what expectations did you have at that point?
Yeah. All right. So the starting budget was literally £0 because
not a place you want to be.
not at all. Because like I've said previously, I invested all my savings into one product, which is unadvisable. Anyway, and I was really keen. Like I need somehow to get some capital. And I've said, okay, what are my options? I can go to family, but I really don't want to. I can go to friends, better forget about it, and so on. I've said, okay, let's see from a financial perspective, financial institutions, what can I do? And I've said, maybe I can start with a startup loan.
And I actually completely forgot about this, because this was years ago now, but I actually remember us speaking about this at the time. Okay, sorry, carry on.
So I started with a startup loan. I've built up the project, everything that they required. I've said, look, this is my experience, this is what I have, this is my company, this is my brand, and so on. And university education paid out then, because you know how detailed you need to answer in order to receive something back. And fortunately, I received the whole loan in 2 tranches.
That's amazing.
That was.
Do you remember how long it took from the point of application to you getting a loan? Because I think this is really interesting for people who are at the same point as you, where maybe they want to get started but they don't have any money to get started, that there are actually other options out there, just like you mentioned. So, do you remember how long it took?
Yes. For me, it took literally 1, 2 weeks.
That's amazing. It's
But
amazing.
I would like to specify that this depends on the advisor that you are receiving.
Yeah. Okay.
If there is a busy advisor, you can get three months,
Yeah,
2 months. I don't know, but
I can
it can
imagine
take
they want more and more
much longer.
information. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so
So
then you got that start loan.
yeah,
Are you happy to share with how much that was?
yes,
Don't feel like
yes,
you
it
have to.
was 25K,
Okay.
25,000.
Okay,
I've
amazing.
received it
That's a
in
very, very healthy,
amount.
starting budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's and I've received it in two tranches, tranche one 15 and tranche two 10,000. And I've decided to invest to diversify the risk into two products. I
Yeah.
wanted
Which is
actually
a
in
smart
three.
thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I've said, okay, two products. I wanted three actually, but I said because those two projects were all the criterias alluded in the course were exactly matching those two products. I said, okay, I will not do two. I will not do three. I will do only two. And yeah, I've invested my capital there.
I think that what's interesting is that, so this, for anyone watching who does have a slightly larger starting budget, this is always an option that you have, right? You can either look into launching one product or launching multiple products. And I think the pros of going down the route of launching multiple products, just like you mentioned, is that you're spreading the risk, right? There's always a risk that a product's not going to be successful. So by launching multiple products at the same time, you're spreading out that risk that one or two of them will do well. But then the disadvantage on the flip side is that it's a lot more work.
Yeah,
When you're starting out and you don't really know what you're doing completely, a lot of the time you want to keep the work minimal. You want to just, it's sometimes easier to do one. So those are the kind of pros and cons. How did you find the process of kind of launching two products? We'll talk about the launch process more, but did you find that it was much more work to kind of launch two? Like looking back, would you have stuck with one, or would you have done things the same?
um, I'm a person that's very diligent, wants to obtain experience and
Yeah,
information. And for me, launching two products, yes, it was demanding. I can tell you this, it was really demanding, but I enjoyed it. I
yeah,
enjoyed it because I've said, yeah, it's part of the process. I
yeah.
want to learn it. I want to do it properly.
That's also something I forgot to ask. Were you studying or working at the time? Like, where were you finding time to
Oh,
do
yeah.
all of this?
Um, at that moment, I was followed. I was still followed and looking for a job. So I had plenty of time, and I said, "All right, I will put it into something
Yeah,
to get
as a
something out."
good use of time.
And also, I think you asked me in regards to my goals, right? When
Yeah.
I
Oh, sorry.
started.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Uh, with the product in Germany, I've said 1K a month, or it was a realistic aim, or 1.5K to 2.5K profit a month. Um, and with those were my short-term goals. And with the UK products, it was a similar goal. So at the beginning, after short after launch, also 1.5 to 2K per month. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was in terms of short-term goals with
Yeah.
these two products. That's what you wanted to achieve
Yes. Yeah.
about 1.5k profit, about something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. To
I think that's a really good, like, realistic goal
yeah.
to
Yeah.
have, because that's something that's achievable and also
Yeah.
would have a massive impact. You
Yeah.
know, of course, of course. Great. Okay. And then, so going back to before you found the products, when you talk about the course having quite specific criteria and things like that, when you were looking for products, did you have like a really did you know what niche you wanted to go into, or did you just have like a set of criteria that you were just looking for any product that kind of met that criteria?
That's a really good question. That's a really good question because actually, how I started to get experience, it was like I want to find the niches that have this specific criteria, and I found a couple of them. However, I find it out that I'm not passionate enough to bring a product out in that niche. And I've said, what I'm doing here, if I'm not passionate enough, I cannot deliver a good offer to the client. I cannot think creatively enough to get the best out of this product. And I've said, all right, let's break it down and see in what I'm actually interested in, and look there where I have a passion about it. And I've changed the approach, and actually I found something that I was really interested in, and I said, all right, I will go here and I will develop some products in this niche.
I think that's really interesting, because obviously you can launch product in any niche, but what maybe people who are first getting into it don't realize is that when you actually go to launch a product in a niche, you essentially have to become an expert in that niche, because to be able to create the product packaging, to be able to create a good offer, to be able to market your product if you're going to be marketing off Amazon, to be able to do all of that stuff, you really need to know your niche well. And obviously anyone can learn any niche, but if you have a passion for it, even a little bit of a passion, it just makes the whole process so much easier. And also, in any business journey, there's going to be highs and lows. And I think if you're really not passionate about something at all, it's going to make the lows a bit harder, and it's going to be hard to stay motivated. So, my bit of advice, I think anyone watching this, if you can find a product that's in a niche that you're interested in, that's going to massively help. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah. And what software were you using? Were you using Helium 10 or?
Yeah, Helium 10. Yeah, I was using Helium 10. It's easy to manage and go around.
And so earlier you mentioned, so you found these products and both of them just met all the criteria that you were looking for. So obviously one of those was in a niche you're interested in. Do you kind of remember what the other criteria were? Was it to do with demand, gaps in the market? What kind of stuff was it?
So I had few basic criteria. Two of them are really in the course. They are really like, you need to have those. Otherwise, you do not know what will happen. So it was a medium sales volume, at least a medium sales volume.
Yeah, very important.
And low competition. And besides those two, I had also my third one. You also suggested in the course, like there could be a marketing gap. The marketing might not be so high, so you might have there a way to deliver your product. And based on those three criteria, I found my niche.
Yeah.
Because in terms of competitions, yes, there were two Amazon brands competing, but they had a direct offer with mine. And there was another brand who has a partial offer with mine. So I've said, all right, there are two main competitors, Amazon, and one partial one. I said, this is a good opportunity. I can go here. Marketing was all right. I said I could do a much better job. The offer was the same. The only thing that I've done better than them, I had a better price. It was 5 to 10% lower that they offered, and this was my thesis. This was my thesis. Right.
Yeah, I mean that. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think for me this is what I always teach in the course. The two most important things is that number one, there's demand there. So if you're able to compete with the competition, you know that you're going to be making sales, right? If the demand's not there, it doesn't matter how well you execute everything else. Even if you're the best seller, you're not going to be selling much, right? So the demand has to be there. And then secondly, like you said, you need to be able to compete. So either, you need to feel that you're able to compete with the competition. And so you're saying you in terms of the offer, everything was the same, apart from, was it just price then?
Yeah. It was mostly price. So this is the only thing that I could compete with them. And also you mentioned demand, and in the course, not all demand is good. There is a specific pattern of demand that you are suggesting in the course.
Cool. Okay, and then with the, so we'll touch on this more later on, but so then with your, because you now sell 4 products, or you've got a few in the pipeline. Did you take the same approach with those in terms of product research? Did you take the same approach with those future products as you did with the first 2, or did you learn anything that you kind of made you do it differently, or did you just take exactly the same approach?
The approach was pretty much the same. So I look at the same things. However, what I've changed here, my offer was twice the better. So the quality of the product was twice the better that the market could offer at the lower price with excellent marketing. And the preliminary data absolutely blows my mind. I've showed you also. I said,
great, cool. We'll talk about that a little bit later on as well. But I think that's really the key. When customers shop on Amazon, in a split second, they're looking at all the different offers and they're comparing what they get to the price, and they're picking the one that's most desirable. And if you can have a better product at a lower price and you can make your product more desirable, then all the competition, that is the key. That's the key. Exactly as you found out. Okay, so you found these 2 products. Do you remember how long it took you to find them? Like when you were doing product research, because you said you were on furlough, so I guess you had quite a lot of time to kind of focus on it. Did you find them quite quickly, or did it take a while?
Took a while. It took a while. I think it was around 1 week of intense research, because I was going back to you and look. So 1 week of 5 hours per day research. Intense research,
very intense.
Standing on your laptop, on your toes, and researching. And I've sent you a couple of products and you gave me feedback. But after 1 week, we managed to find something that might shine. And it was 1 week.
Amazing. That's a really quick amount of time, but it just shows that if you have the time and you've got the training, you know what you're doing, and you can just focus on it, you can find a product really quickly. Okay, and then so you've got these 2 products, and then let's talk about the kind of developing and manufacturing of it. So you have these ideas. Can you talk me through like the development process a little bit? Obviously, we're not going to talk about what your products are. You can just keep it kind of broad.
So
how long it took, and just a brief kind of outline.
So after researching the products, to give you a specific date, it was after I received my startup loan. It was in September. End of September, I've started to research for suppliers, and it took a while. That part took a while to find. Like I was researching for UK suppliers, and it took a while to find them. I would say 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And afterwards, after finding a good supplier, was responsive, very important.
Very important.
Then I started product development, and it was another part. Took me around 4 weeks. It was a long time, because I was so keen in getting the product quality right. And I was bombarding them with emails. Okay, do you have this technique or that technique, or how are you manufacturing this, and so on and so forth. And I think they were a bit annoyed. But
I've been there. I'm a very detailed person as well, so I do the same thing. I've been there.
But when you're working with money, especially at the beginning, it's your own money. It was the bank's money, but anyway, I had the liability, right?
But also, I think 4 weeks. It sounds like a long time, but in the great scheme of things, you've been selling for over a year now, and putting in that upfront work, to make sure that the quality is right is going to save you so much work in the future, and also money.
Absolutely.
If you don't spend much time or attention on that step, and you end up with a product where the quality is not great, you're going to get bad reviews. That product's not going to sell well. You could potentially lose money, and it's going to come back to bite you. So I'd always recommend spending that time. you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And then, so so you're looking for a UK supplier. Is that because you just couldn't get the product or the quality that you wanted from China or overseas? Is that why you were looking in the UK? Was there any specific reason?
Yes, quality was part of it, and also certain products have certifications, and
Yeah,
those certification might enhance your products and
yeah,
might put them somewhere here
yeah.
compared to the other
And that's only
other
something you could get from
competitors.
UK manufacturers. Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes,
and
yes.
how did you go about finding those? So did you use Alibaba? Because I actually have one of my products is manufactured in the UK,
Mhm.
and when I was looking for a manufacturer, I didn't really find many on Alibaba. I personally just used Google, a bit old school, and just
Yeah, yeah.
found them. Was that the same with you, or how did you
The
go
same
about finding
approach.
them? Yeah.
The same approach. I brought a couple of keywords, product, and then manufactured.
Yeah.
Uh, and I found a couple of companies. I had a document, a spreadsheet where I've annotated every single one of them, and I was checking their response time
Yeah.
and how good they were, how they responded. I was checking every single criteria, and
Cool.
also, some manufacturers they have a specific MOQ.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, they said, okay, you need to buy at least uh, 300 units
Yeah.
or something like this,
Yeah.
or I was trying to find one who's it's flexible, like, okay, for the first run you can have this many units,
Yeah.
or yeah.
Yeah, and just, for anyone watching who doesn't know what that is, MOQ stands for minimum order quantity, and
Yeah,
I think what's important about that is that if when you're speaking to lots of different manufacturers, if you can find one who's really responsive, who's willing to be flexible with their MOQs, that you can build a good relationship with them. So I think that's also something that's important. When you're working with someone
yeah,
who's really really rigid and not really willing to kind of negotiate on things at all, it's not
yeah.
ideal really. And then just to kind of finish talking about manufacturing, if you could kind of go back, when you kind of
Mhm.
went back to the manufacturing stage for your second products, did you do anything differently? Would you recommend anything to new sellers who are kind of going into the product development or manufacturing stage? Like, is there anything that you learned that you thought was really important?
Yes, so you need to be patient. You need to be patient. You need to be dogmatic, and uh, every single trace of naivety needs to disappear. Otherwise, I will tell you later or now, we'll see. um, I had a really good product. The quality was not there. Uh, and I thought that I have this quality of the product because I've specified twice in this email,
Yeah,
but the papers was showing me something else. And yeah, it turned out to be not a good story.
yeah.
And
So
yeah,
let's come back to that,
yeah,
because I
yeah.
want to talk about the launch, and then got this on my notes. We can come back to that, because I think that's going to be really really important to touch on.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
one more. Sorry, I've just remembered. So, when you are dealing with the manufacturer, you need also not to think like, oh, I need to put everything on my side. I need to cut this much, and I don't care. So think also from his perspective, because you might want to have
Good, very
a
good advice.
a 20% reduction in price and to be on your side, right? But he wants also to have a good cut of this whole business, right? So you need to be flexible, like think about 5 to 7%, because he needs to earn as well. And if he's earning something, he will behave very different with yourself, because he said, he wants to do business, he thinks about myself, I will think about him as well. So
Yeah.
it's a different relationship.
Yeah,
So
I
don't
think that's a great piece of advice. Yeah, yeah. I think that's one of them. I talk about this in the course, but I think this is one of the really important bits of negotiation. You need to have empathy. You need to be able to put yourself
yeah,
in the other in the account manager's shoes. To be able to negotiate well. Cool.
yeah,
Okay, so let's do a quick recap. So you joined the
yeah,
course in July 2020.
yeah,
You found your first product, and then you launched that product in April 2021. So that's about 9 months from joining the
yeah,
course to launching your first product. Did that take, was that quicker or shorter than you initially expected?
It was three times more than I expected.
Oh, really? Because
Yeah,
you found the product quite quickly. You said, you found the
yeah,
product in a week or two.
yeah.
What took so long, or what kind of made things, that whole process,
Pro
longer than you expected?
Product development, it should have taken around 1, 2 weeks max, and it took me around 6. Then I had an issue with the labeling, and I also designed a specific box for my product. And imagine that I had to, um, how should I say? It's like to puzzle everything. Like I need to speak with this supplier to to have this specific lead time and to send out my boxes to this supplier, and then he needs to pack and everything else. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
really tight. And
yeah,
also when I was designing my labels, uh, the person who I was working with, he had some technical issues, and he wasn't able to deliver. It took him 4 times more than
yeah.
normal. And yeah, it was really strange because my manufacturer was asking me. He said, like, look, we have your product. We need the label. And I've said, oh, my label is not finished yet. And I was pressing my friends to do the labeling artwork and everything else, and the box. Yeah. And yeah, it was a
So,
headache. It was 4 weeks
yeah.
instead of 1 week. So
Okay,
yeah.
cool. So that's the recap. Let's talk about the launch then. So, in terms of your launch, did you do anything to prepare? So, did you get any initial reviews for your two product
Yeah.
listings? Yeah.
Yeah, I applied a technique. So uh, I've um, I've received 2 or 3 reviews per product,
Yeah.
but I had to contact 10 people in order to do this.
Yeah.
So basically, what I've done, I contacted 10 people, friends of mine or family members that they were not connected, never in their lives, to my internet
Which is
Wi-Fi,
very, very important if you're going to be doing that. Yeah.
or or I was not connected in my whole life to their Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So this is very important if you are doing this. And what I've done, so I've asked them to purchase my product, and it was a really specific purchase. It was on specific keywords.
Yeah.
And I've told them, look, you are not going to direct into my product and purchase it. You need to go to the other products in the niche, and in a sense, fake your
Yeah.
purchase,
Yeah.
and then coming to mine and purchase mine. Of course, I've commissioned them for doing this. So that was my
Okay.
this
Yeah.
was my approach.
So that was your kind of pre-launch prep to get those initial reviews.
Yes, yes.
Did you have a pricing strategy in terms of did you launch with the price that you continue to keep selling on, or did you decide to start with a lower price,
Yeah.
and then work your price up?
I've lowered my price at the beginning with 10-15% compared to the competition.
Yeah, because I think that's a
Uh,
really good way to when you're launching, you've got very few reviews and you're competing against
yeah.
other sellers. Having a lower price is a great way to get people to pick you and kind of drive that
Mhm.
initial sales velocity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That was
And then in terms of the so what launch methods did you use? Did you use just
no,
PPC or a
just
mix?
PPC.
Yeah.
It was only PPC. Actually, the niches that I operated in, they were really, really good niches. I had, starting with 0 reviews, I had per day an average of 4 to 5 sales organically without any PPC
Was this for the first two products
for the first 2 and the next
and
ones.
and the future ones? Okay, so all of them.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. Yeah.
Actually, for this one that I've launched now, it was a bit different. But in general, this was the
Yeah,
framework.
yeah, that's amazing. And then did so you kind of started your PPC campaigns. Do you remember how quickly it took to kind of gain that organic keyword ranking and appear on the first
So,
page in the top
so
10?
without starting the PPC campaign in my niches, it took me only let's say 3 days to be in the top 5.
That's amazing.
Top
Without any
5 or top
PPC.
7 without any PPC.
That's incredible.
With PPC, I was able to crack the top 4.
Yeah, it's really interesting because obviously, I've worked with a lot of students, and I've been a part of a lot of product launches, my own and also a lot of the students, and it's just so interesting how all product launches are just so different. For a lot of products, if there's no PPC campaigns running, you can be on page 30, and you can never reach page 1. And those products will really need PPC to be able to get those initial sales. And then for other products, for instance like yours, you can gain that organic keyword ranking really quickly. It just varies so much product to product. Yeah. And then so you gain that organic keyword ranking quite quickly, and then you had your PPC campaigns running. Did you notice when you got those campaigns running? Did you notice an even further growth?
Absolutely. It was like twice or 3 times the sales that I usually have. And they were spiking up. And during your launching phase, you will get also bad reviews or not so good reviews, and this will decrease your rating. And still, I kept my the flow of sales up. And this was due to PPC, because I was visible, and the customers are not dumb. They are looking at the reviews, and if they see an ungenuine review, like, oh, it didn't work because this broke up, or I don't know, or it didn't suit my hand, or silly reviews, and the customer might say, oh, this is silly. It's not genuine, I will purchase. So
for sure. And then do you so that first month selling, do you remember how much revenue you made that first month?
I can look back. Let me do a really quick calculation, because I have the numbers in my head. And the price is it was around 3,500.
Okay, that's really, really healthy, solid first month. And then at that point, were you including all the PPC spend? Were you profitable that first month, or did you make a loss or break even? You're still profitable.
I was still profitable.
And that's amazing. For your first
month. I was also amazed. Like, I had a 15% margin. And also with like I said, with not so good reviews. So lowered the price. I had my launching price, PPC, and I didn't spend too much on the PPC, because I've said, if I'm already good organic ranked, it's not that important for me to launch with this aggressive campaign. I can maintain it at a good level. So
the lower your organic keyword ranking, the more aggressive you need to be with your PPC campaigns. So spot on, 100%. And then so you've got these 2 products selling. You had a really good first month. Let's go back to talking about that product that you had issues with, because I want to talk about some of the lows quickly. So these products are both selling. They both gained organic keyword ranking, and they were both doing well. What went wrong with one of the products then?
So the quality compared to the target group that I was aiming was not the same. So the quality was half as they were demanding. So I couldn't compete there where I wanted, and it was a mess.
Was that through getting bad reviews?
No. The reviews were all right. They were all right, but the quality, and you cannot lie in a listing. The customer will notice straight away.
Of course,
you need to tell what the product is doing, how it is doing it, and he will read, and he will do a critical review, and I will purchase it or not. And this, like I've said, with the manufacturer, that was the stage where I've done a small mistake, and it cost me half of my investment for that specific product.
Cool. So then, what did you see? Did you start to lose organic keyword ranking with that product? The sales dropped. At what point did you know? Okay, I got to stop selling this product.
So I was entering the market with a quality that is priced much lower than I've intended to sell the product at.
Yeah.
And if you are coming with that quality, right, and you expect like 7 sales, you will not receive 7. You might receive 1 or 2. And yeah, that's a big issue.
Yeah,
If
of
you
course.
and also the problem with that specific niche is, yes, I could lower my price, but the products in that lower bounds, they didn't have sell volume.
Yeah.
The customer were not interested there, and it took me a bit of time to get rid of them. But yeah, this was.
Did you manage to sell all of the stock?
Yeah, I've sold all my stock, but I had to cut my investment margin. The profit margin, they were gone,
Yeah.
but I also had to cut my investment margin by 40%. Yeah.
Okay. So on that product, did you end up? So you ended up making a loss on that product, or did you make your money back? Or
I had a loss of 5 to 5.5 thousand pounds.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a big loss, and that's interesting because so you also mentioned that initial product in Germany didn't do particularly well. I mean, when was that was it at a similar time that you noticed the product in Germany? Yeah. So because that's I can imagine that for you that would have been a bit of a kind of a double whammy.
It was.
But then after that you've gone on then to launch several more products. So I guess my question to you is what at that point, what kind of kept you motivated and what made you think, okay, you know what, I'm just going to keep going. I'm not going to give up. Like,
it was this other product. I said, look, this other product is going really, really well. I had this thesis, the right details, right market details. Everything was matching. And look, I'm selling. I have margins. I have good profit margin. It's amazing. And I said, I had to accept that I didn't do a good job with the other product, and I have to lose money now and continue. And it wasn't hard. It wasn't easy. Sorry, it wasn't easy to accept that because you need to lower your ego and to have. Yeah, I need to go back and I need or either to stay here or to go forward. You have your 2 ways. And yes, this kept me motivated, and also the fact that I had a product on the market and I was like looking at my product and I said, look, this is my creativity here. I'm delivering something to the customer. Nobody else is doing this. It's like my own artwork.
I think you were in an interesting situation because obviously you were unlucky in a way that you had products that failed, but you were also lucky that you got to see both sides of the picture. You had a product or a couple of products that weren't doing well, but you had one that was doing well, and I'm sure that probably helped in the motivation because you can see that what, if you do things right, it can work, and I think I've been in the same situation. I've had a product that's failed, and I think if you speak to anyone who's been selling for a while, they will have a product or products that fail. Not every product's successful. I think that's a really important thing to know. Even if you really know what you're doing, you can't get everything right the whole time, but it's about having faith and just pushing forward. And obviously that faith paid off because about 3 months after you started selling, you then joined the 10K club, so you hit 10 grand in total sales. So then over the next few months, several months, you launched 3 new products. Did you go about the whole launch? Did you go about the launch process in like a similar way? Did you do anything different with the launches of those new products?
Yes, I've cut my investment time, my opportunity cost. Instead of let's say 9 months, I managed to do it in 5.
Okay.
I've still had my flaws. So again, I had a technical issue with my with the manufacturer. So again, he was waiting for the product label. I wasn't there yet, and but it's a big jump from 9 months to 5 months.
For sure.
It's a big jump.
So let's talk about where you are now, and then I just want to kind of finish the interview about talking about a little bit about the future. So then and then in May 2022 you joined the 100K club, which obviously is an amazing feeling. So that's essentially, I was looking back, and that's basically 12 months, 12 and a half months after you launch your first product, you hit 100k in total sales, which is incredible. How did that feel? Because I know that was recently. That was just a few weeks ago. I've actually, if anyone can see this, I've actually got Michael's award here, which I'm going to send out later today. A massive achievement. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. I appreciate. Thank you.
Yeah.
So to be honest with you, look, I expected this because
confidence. I like that.
I expected because I'm looking at my sales. I'm tracking my sales, everything, conversion rate, click-through rate, every single KPI, and I've seen a spike. I've seen that actually I become number one in my niche at the time for 3 consecutive months, and I'm still there.
But I think that just shows what you talk about it taking you a little bit longer to develop it, but it's worth, as I said at the beginning of the video, it's worth putting in that upfront effort, because then you're getting results like you are, So
with Amazon is really, really nice business, because once your product is on the market, you have to invest between half an hour and an hour per week.
Yeah.
Just to manage things.
So is that how long you kind of spend on managing it?
Yeah. It's just
Yeah. And what is that time mostly spent on? Is that just kind of just keeping track of the numbers, maybe a bit of PPC optimization?
Once a week, I'm just getting the numbers out for PPC, for conversion rate, sales volume, everything else. I'm introducing it into a spreadsheet, and then I'm looking at the data. Seeing if there is an evolution or something else with the niche, with the product, with everything. Based on this approach, I have specific times where I'm optimizing my PPC if needed, if I have a higher ACOS or So
I think what's interesting as well is that when you first launch a product and you first have new PPC campaigns, you need to spend a lot more time optimizing them, but it does get to a point when you've been optimizing PPC campaigns for a long time that you can optimize them less often, because they're at a really well optimized point. So at the moment, so you've got 2 products that you're actively selling, and then you've got another 2 products that you've had some issues with. Before we just talk about those issues, so how much are you turning over a month now with those 2 active selling products?
If I have to judge the last 3 months, I have a revenue of around 14 to 15k
per month.
Per month.
Amazing. And what kind of profit margins do you have on that, if you're happy to share? So do you know what they are before PPC spend and after PPC spend?
After PPC spend, I have 27% profit margin.
Well, that's amazing. That's really, really good. Yeah.
But now we need to consider a couple of things, because I wasn't VAT registered. Now I will be VAT registered, so it will.
Of course, You've got to divide that 15k by 1.2, and then you've got the profit on that. Okay, but obviously before you are VAT registered, so that's still really you probably about £4,000 profit a month, which is amazing. In terms of that money, are you taking that money out and living on that money? Are you keeping it in the business? What are you doing with it?
So actually, I'm reinvesting everything.
Yeah.
I'm not. I have a really good rule. A rule of thumb. If you want to get income from your business, no more. In worst case scenario, you're using 10% from your whole profit, 10% for yourself. In worst case, best case scenario, 3 or 5, 3, let's say 3%. And I've said I'm in this stage where I need to grow my revenue, and then possibly make an income out of it.
So you're keeping. So that leads quite nicely then onto. So you're keeping the money in the business. Why are you keeping that money? What are your plans with the business? So firstly, obviously, we haven't really touched on this, but you've got 2 products that you've had some issues with. There's been some issues with the product listing, and you've had to kind of recall the products and things like that. So I guess in looking into the future, you want to get those 2 products back up and selling. and you've already got stock for that. But with the money that you're keeping in the business, what are your plans with that money? Do you want to launch new products on Amazon in the same? Yeah, is that the plan?
Yes. So my plan is to launch a couple of products on Amazon. What I plan is to reach a revenue turnover. So turnover revenue is the same. Sorry, a revenue of 70K per month on a monthly basis. And when I reach that point, I want to expand into the other Amazon countries, not through the EAN product, not product,
EFN
EAN service, EFN service, but to the PAN EU. So when I reach that point, I would like to expand into Europe.
And so you're selling just in the UK at the moment?
Yes, just in the UK.
Yeah. Cool. So do you plan? So I guess you'd become maybe like VAT registered in Germany, split your stock between the UK and Germany, and then use Pan EU to sell across the EU, something like that.
Yes. I need to calculate profit margins and everything.
Yeah, of course.
Those are my plans. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So your two plans are to, increase the number of products you're selling under the same niche, under the same brand, and then also when you get to that 70K point, expand across Europe.
Yes, so expand across Europe. Then I'm trying to reach another revenue points of around. Actually, how I'm calculating is more in profit rather than in revenue.
Yeah.
Because profit allows me to get new products on the market. So
profit is a far more important metric than revenue.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have £100,000 a month revenue and no profit, or £1,000 profit. So I think that makes sense.
Exactly. So my aim is to expand also to America after I'm reaching a profit margin of let's say 40 to 50K a month. I plan to go into America, and when I'm still in Europe and not expanding to America, I was thinking, okay, what is the best opportunity for me to go to build an online shop? Like Shopify.
Well, that's going to be my next question. Is that something that you've considered, or?
I need first to look at data. I need to have, let's say, a couple of scenarios. Like if I'm going that way, how much will I gain? How much my business will gain? If I'm going in this way, and so I have to compare a couple of opportunities first. But yeah. Either I will expand to America, either I will build an online shop, either I will go to eBay or retail or business to business. I don't know. So there are specific ways, and I have to compare.
Yeah, I mean, there's really, there's so many different ways that you could expand. But like, if you're just talking about e-commerce, the three main ways are launch more products in the same market, expand your existing products onto multiple Amazon markets across different countries, or finally expand onto your own website, business to business. And they all have their pros and cons, but with selling on your own website, then you start to bring in the whole world of having to work with logistics companies, having to deal with your own customer service, which is just not something you have to deal with Amazon FBA. So a lot of people choose to stick on Amazon and just expand that way, which, I think a lot of it comes down to time commitment as well.
Exactly. Yeah. This is another thing that I'll start thinking about, because I'm now trying to find that sweet spot where I'm not investing too much time from myself, and I can engage into other projects. Because on the side, I have also other projects that I would like to expand, and I'm thinking like. Will I do Amazon full time, or will I enjoy it that much to develop products and expand it, or will I do it casually, part time, reaching a really, really good profit margin, brand development and everything, and then sell the brand or sell the business and start all over again, like planting a seed, making a big tree, bearing fruits, and then selling it, right? Yeah. So I think I might go to this way, like building a strong brand and selling it, starting again with a new one, and so on.
Yeah, I think that's really important. The cool thing is that once you really know what you're doing and you've nailed the formula, it's just rinse and repeat. It's just do the same thing. And you can do that. And the cool thing about building a real brand and having, especially when you've got multiple products under one brand, one niche, you then have that option of selling that brand, which is amazing. Cool. Okay, so then we're coming to the end of this. I just want to end with a few last questions. So, firstly, these are kind of the bigger questions. Obviously you had your expectations at the beginning of this journey. How has the reality at this point kind of matched up to your expectations?
The reality is a bit different.
Yeah.
I try to have realistic expectations because my personality, I'm very perfectionist. And for example, if I'm designing something and I imagine, I will get this much and I will not get that number, I will be so disappointed. So I had to lower my expectation to a level where it's manageable. I've done that. And actually, in a sense, I've met my expectation, but not at the time that I wanted. I wanted to do it in a really short window of time, like 1-2 months. I will get there. And actually it took 6 months, 5 to 6 months to everything else to grow, to expand, to understand a couple of things and to do it right.
Yeah, I think that's a really good bit of advice, because the quickest way to become unmotivated is by setting unrealistic goals and targets. Because if you set unrealistic goals and targets, you're not going to meet those goals and targets, and that's going to make you feel shit. So I think that's a really, really important bit of advice. And then in terms of kind of your kind of biggest high point in the business, the bit that's made you feel the best, and then kind of your lows. Do you want to touch on those?
Yes, so I had one when this product that was at the beginning was selling good, now it's selling excellent. I was beating Amazon brands. I was beating 2 Amazon brands, and
Nice.
It was really fulfilling. I did it.
Yeah, that must be an amazing feeling.
It was an amazing feeling, and I've become number 1 in my niche for 3 consecutive months. Then
congratulations.
Thank you. I had the Amazon Choice badge on the main keyword, number 1 main keyword for a couple of 2 months, 1.5 months. And also with those 2 new products that I'm starting to launch, like I've said, the offer is excellent, the marketing excellent, everything is on the point. The preliminary data showed the sales are even better than the first product that I had. And I've said, wow, this is really amazing. I think I will have a supply issue because I have to invest more money into this month. And I was really fulfilling, I'm right again. Feeling that we are humans, as humans, we like to be right about stuff. And a really fulfilling emotion.
It's like you said, you've found this product idea, you've developed it, you've created the branding, you've created everything, and then when it does well, that feeling I think is unmatched. You've created something that people are buying, thousands of people are buying. That's an amazing feeling that you've created something like that. That's what it's all about, I think.
When you're looking there on your shop or on your brand, you see, I have those 4 products, and this is my work, my own work. It's so fulfilling. You cannot describe it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I know that you're having issues with the listings of those 2 products, but knowing you, I know that you have a very good approach to getting things sorted. I know that you're going to get those sorted out and selling very soon.
Hopefully, fingers
crossed. Then what about the lows? Have there been any kind of points where you found things really difficult? I mean, I know that we've touched on that first product and those 2 products not doing so well at the same time.
Of course, the lows were, at the beginning in April, when I was launching those 2 products, one of them I had to lower my price. I had to cut my investment margins. Also, the product in Germany wasn't going well, and the other product was just starting. I was at the start, and I was a bit pissed. I was not feeling well. Like, oh, Amazon doesn't work, doesn't this, doesn't do that. But because the other product was working, I was thinking, oh, it's not that bad. Look, this one works. So think about it.
Sure.
But I had my low times. I had my low times when I said I just want to sell everything. I don't want to have to do this with this anymore. It just because sometimes Amazon is grieving. Sometimes you are speaking to them and they are not communicating, and you are sending 20 emails in the course of 1 week or 2 weeks, and you haven't sold a thing.
Anyone watching this who is actively selling will know exactly what you're talking about here, because we've all been there, and that is one of the frustrating things about selling on Amazon. 100%.
And this is those are also low points, or when you are calling a HMRC, the same thing. Staying 1-2 hours on the line, and every seller knows this.
For sure.
Those were low points. Those were low points, and the only thing that will take you out of there is to look at your work and to see what you have achieved until that part.
And also, congratulations for sticking with it, because you're at a point now. You're only selling 2 products. You've got 2 more that are already up and running. You've got the stock for and ready to get up and running. And just with those 2 products, you're generating close to £4,000 a month, and you're working less than an hour a week. I mean, it's almost unbelievable. It's incredible. And also with what you've got planned for the future, I know that you're going to be doing big numbers very soon.
Yes.
So I just want to end with one last question. So. If there's a new seller who's thinking of getting into Amazon FBA, launching their own brand on Amazon, would you still recommend it as a business model now? And do you have any advice, just advice that you would give them, broad advice, or anything that you would have done differently, or anything like that?
Yeah. So for any new seller, when I started Amazon, it was also the same question: does brand building work? Because everybody else, no, it doesn't work, or you need to try this business model or that business model or this and that. And what I can say with certitude is that brand building works, and it will work until the economy blows up.
People will always be buying products.
Always. They will always be buying products. It's all about the approach that you are having. So for every new seller, if you do not have at all experience like I had absolutely zero experience in terms of business. I would recommend, like, when you are starting the very first product, make sure that you have a 90% chance for that product to be a good product. So in case you invested time in researching that product, in finding a good manufacturer, and the numbers are not there, and the feedback from your mentor is not there, then I would reconsider. And just judge it as an opportunity cost and go away, start all over again. Because if you have a good product and you have a 90% certitude, the other 2, the next 2 and 3, the next products will be much more easier to develop, because you have this emotion. You will act differently. So please be very dogmatic with the numbers. Don't be naive, and be focused on detail. Listen to your mentor and do the work.
I think that's amazing advice. What I take from that is, really learn what you're doing first. Be really detailed about the numbers, and take your time. I think too many people try and rush into things, and that's where you miss the details, and that's where mistakes happen. So
And one more thing: don't quit your job. Keep your job there. Don't go yet.
Perfect. I think that's amazing advice. Well, look, this has been amazing. You know, I knew a bit about your story already, but it's been so good to chat to you. I've found it really interesting. I'm sure anyone else watching has found it really interesting. So thank you for your time. I appreciate that.
No worries. See you again soon. Take care.
All right. Cheers, Michael. Thank you.
Cheers.